All right.
What
Yes, sir. We are here. The Collectin and Connectin podcast, episode 6. We got the usual
Nice.
suspects. King Brett, what's up, man?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Treaticus, hello, hello.
What's up? What's up?
And today, a special guest in Top Shot. He is, I'll just rip straight from his Twitter bio because it cracked me up. A Knicks fan in Florida, retired New Yorker, and not actually Patrick Ewing. We have Packrip Ewing. What's up, buddy?
Honor and a privilege to be here, guys. Thank you so much for having me. Fan of the show, fan of all of you. 3-ball, fan of your TikTok videos. Treaticus, you know, we go way back. King Brett, you're crushing it. I feel like I'm amongst some Top Shot Kings right here, so pretty pumped to be here.
Ooh, way to tie in my name in there, King, Top Shot King. Anyways, Chewy got excited here, Kings, and he's like, the Beam.
That sounds right.
Speaking of Bing Bong, New York Knicks fan, my man, you got a lot going on up there in connections with us as Mavs fans. You know, we love Jalen Brunson, and we got that connection, and we talk a lot about that in our group chat. But talk to us a little bit about your Knicks fandom. Where did that start, and how do you feel about it now?
Yeah, I mean, Mavs and Knicks feel like we just trade players every year, more or less.
we got a trade system back and forth, just sending people back.
Yeah, so grew up in Long Island, New York, not far from Madison Square Garden, and had an older brother. Kind of adopted all of his sports fandom from him. So Knicks, Giants, Mets are my kind of core squad, and always loved basketball. Grew up born in '87, so was an infant and kind of like growing sports fan during the '90s Knicks. What could be better? Had the Starks and the Ewing posters all over my wall, and just kind of Loved basketball from the very beginning. That was kind of like the sport I always played as a kid, basketball and soccer, and loved the Knicks in the '90s, and then loved them a little bit less in the early 2000s because those were some tough years. And as I grew into my fandom and became a deeper basketball fan and more knowledgeable about the game and more knowledgeable about James Dolan's incompetence, it became harder and harder to be a Knicks fan. But these days it's pretty great. Loving the team, loving the roster, feeling good about the future. A lot of young talent. Obviously, Jalen Brunson, kind of like, unbelievable. Thank you, guys. Honestly,
we miss him. He's a great player. He's a great team guy, but he can flat take care of the ball, distribute, shoot. He's a great player to have, and I enjoyed watching him break out a little bit with the Knicks and with all the facial expressions and everything. He was having a good time.
No, but I love the Mavs too, actually. As a Knicks fan growing up, we weren't used to winning, especially in the 2000s. So I often adopted – I always had like a Western Conference favorite team. I would never root for another Eastern Conference team. As a Knicks fan, that would be like cheating. But I always had a Western Conference favorite team because I knew we'd never really run into them in the finals. And I loved the Mavs. I mean, Dirk is my favorite NBA player of all time.
Really?
I loved Cuban. Loved Mark Cuban. The Steve Nash, Michael Finley, Dirk Nowitzki Mavericks team. That was my squad. Big Mavs fan, big Dirk fan. Love Luka. So Mavs are have always been one of my favorite other non-Knicks teams.
Great to hear it.
Stop sucking up. My God.
We talk about the Celtics.
We're supposed to be honest on this show.
Yeah, we're not talking about undrafted rookies. We're talking about
undrafted stuff.
Well, if we're being honest, I absolutely despise the Celtics, which I don't think is I don't think that's a secret.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes in the Eastern Conference, man. It's brutal. We're not soft like those Western Conference little punks. But yeah, you grew up watching basketball when it was mean, man. Those Knicks teams and the Bulls, all the Eastern Conference teams back then were so tough.
It's funny when you look back at like the box scores for those teams, like when I'm just researching anything or like going down memory lane, it's like 75, 64, final score, brutal.
It's back when men played basketball.
That's right.
They weren't 7-footers out there running the point. God,
go ahead, King Brett. What you got?
No, he said 7-footers, and I'm trying to think of all the like under 6-foot people in the league. Trying to think of people. Shout out. No, I was just thinking about. He was talking about. You said Madison Square Garden earlier, and I was just thinking about how cool it is to see a game there. I take it you've seen games there. Like what? Like have you seen games in the United States or?
So I haven't been to too many NBA arenas. I've been to Staples Center in LA. Nice. Been to a few Miami Heat games. I've been to a lot of Knicks games. So I grew up going to the Garden with my brother with some friends. I've been to a few games recently, like when the Knicks made the playoffs in 2021. Really like that first playoff run. I had the chance to go. I was in Madison Square Garden when Steph broke the record, which was really special. Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Thanks for the invite.
So it was funny. Like I really wanted to go to the playoff games when the Knicks made it because I knew that was such a rare occurrence, and I was really into basketball, even more so through Top Shot and the Knicks and my fandom. So I bought a playoff package with my brother, and we went to the to the Hawks games. And as like a Knicks ticket package holder for the playoffs, part of the requirement was basically like you have to buy tickets for next season too. And I was like, all right, what are like the minimum amount of tickets I need to buy in order to get first dibs on playoff tickets? And they're like, you can buy tickets to 4 games. I was like, all right, that's easy. Yeah. And I was like, cool. I've never seen Steph live before. Next season, the Knicks are playing the Warriors in December. Like, let's make that one of the games. And sure enough,
that's
like,
awesome.
3 weeks before, I'm like, there's no way this is going to line up like that. And I was like 2 weeks before, and then a week before, I was like, holy shit! Like, we're going to get Steph in Madison Square Garden breaking the record. And awesome. my brother and I that morning were like, should we sell these tickets for like $2,000? And we're like, we have to go. And sure enough, went, got COVID, bought the moment. Like it was a real like life experience, like core memory of Steph Curry breaking the record. It was a hell of a night.
What an experience! What a moment that you guys had, and I love that moment in history is actually immortalized on Top Shot. And we're definitely going to get down that road, and definitely want to talk about your role with NBA Top Shot and ask you a few questions about that. But I noticed you first on Twitter. You were posting videos and things, and I mentioned in the bio, Knicks fan in Florida. I noticed the view and you playing ball, and I saw this and I was like, man, who is this guy? What is he doing? And how is he making shots in this beautiful, I mean, where is this? Tell me about the sport. Where are you always posting videos? This is awesome, dude.
So I used to live in New York City. I grew up in New York and kind of after college lived in the city for the better part of 12, 13 years. And when I got married to my wife and we had a kid, we were kind of like, do we really want to live in New York for the rest of our lives just because we grew up here? And we were both kind of like, Florida is a pretty nice place, all things considered. It's a lot of mental health and wellness and just weather and financially and real estate. And, when you look around houses where we grew up, they're like not what our parents paid for them. They're way more expensive and very old. And we're kind of just like, let's go to Florida. And we rented, we talked about it for a while. And we had a newborn baby, and my wife was kind of like, it was peak pandemic, trying to take care of a kid, 10 degrees outside, kind of going a little stir crazy. And she was kind of just like, let's go to Florida. Like, we need to do it. Like, I need to get out of here. Nice. And I was like, when? She was like, next month, like as soon as possible. So, like I'm working and she's just like 24/7 Zillowing. And next thing you know, she's like, I found this place to rent. It's a 4-bedroom house. It costs the same as what we're paying for our 1-bedroom apartment in Manhattan right now.
Wow.
It's in this neighborhood that I heard is nice. Like, are you down? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
It happens fast, doesn't it?
So this is the basketball court in the community that I live in. I basically live in like a gated Florida community with a pool and a basketball court and a gym and like every amenity under the sun, which is great. For much less money than I would have thought I'd have to pay for all those things, which is also great. And like nobody ever uses this court.
What?
And it's just like for me, like I'm not very good at basketball. Like I'm smart enough to know that I'm like not the best basketball player. That's part of why I love Dirk. Like all I could really do is like shoot threes. And like even then I'm like not the best 3-point shooter. But I love like basketball, and for me, like whenever I was upset or stressed out or like needed to clear my chest or needed to like exercise or like just like escape from anything, basketball. Like I would just go play basketball until I couldn't move anymore. 1-on-1, 3-on-3, 5-on-5 by myself, like whatever. So for me, like just shooting around a basketball has always been like part of my life and part of just like taking a break. And you know, between work and being a father and being a parent and whatever, like the moments that I have to just shoot around are few and far between. But you know, I have this court, and it's like a 5-minute walk from my house. And
amazing.
When the kid is asleep and there's no work to do, which is, you know, very, very limited time windows every week, go shoot around a little bit. And you know, when we were introducing Magic Johnson for the first time, I you know started like skyhooking for fun. And I've just like developed this skyhook shot that
you did.
You know, like is pretty efficient and you know, like it works pretty well. I'm probably like 50 to 60% skyhook.
Wow. That's nice.
And then I was like, I've never shot a 3 skyhook before, and this was literally like, you know, first shot. Just I hit like 2 of 3 in a row. I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna retire this for now. I don't want to push my luck.
That's enough. Cut it. We're good.
Yeah. I was like, 3-pointer skyhook. That's a new one. And then when LeBron was breaking the record, all the time he was practicing the skyhook in warm-ups. I was like, this dude's gonna skyhook for the record. I had like bets internally. I was like, we're gonna get a skyhook for the record breaker. And he didn't. But yeah, skyhook has kind of become one of my new tricks in my very limited bag of tricks.
Nice. I thought I saw you posting about LeBron gonna break the record with the skyhook. But speaking of posting, tell us about your journey here with Top Shot. How did that start? How did you get on board?
Yeah, so I've always been a writer, like my whole life. I've always loved to write. I've always been like just a creative person. And you know, as a kid, kind of like in middle school, even at high school, I was like, advertising, marketing is kind of like this really cool career path that I could take, where writing and creativity is like my job. Didn't really think I'd become like a professional writer, but I knew that like marketing was like a very business centric way to like tap into that skill set. So I always wrote for fun. I always wrote for work for any job that I had. I, you know, went to school for marketing and finance, worked in marketing my whole life. And kind of always worked in like marketing jobs for things I didn't really care about. So I found myself writing for fun about things I did care about, whether that was sports or whether that was movies. And when I discovered Top Shot, I was kind of like, nobody's really just like writing about basketball and what makes the moments cool. And, you know, it was a lot of analysis. It was a lot of non-collecting, connecting kind of content in the world. So I was like, I really like this a lot. I don't see anyone doing this. And I just started like, you know, making lists and writing different stories about basketball and about the moments. And, you know, it kind of took off. I think that it was the right place, right time for me. And, you know, that was a wild year for all of us, that 2021 first year of Top Shot. And just started blogging, right? Just started blogging about Top Shot and kind of gained traction. I think, you know, during the peak of that year, you know, when it was kind of all said and done, there were almost like 500,000 views of my blog.
Nice.
And
wow.
I was just like, this is great. I was doing all that, this Packrip Ewing persona that I built around it on the side of like my full-time, you know, I was like a director of marketing for a risk and software company, B2B kind of stuff. Had kind of like established a bit of a foothold in a specific industry, but I wasn't really like super passionate about it. And I was able to like do all this stuff on the side of my, you know, 9 to 6 job. And then, you know, slowly but surely the opportunity kind of presented itself to do it at Top Shot full time instead. And, you know, I thought about it for a while because obviously there's a difference between a hobby and a job, right? Or doing it for fun, doing it for fun, doing it for work. But joined the Top Shot team in it's been a year and a half, in a bit of a marketing role, kind of like just doing email and blog stuff. And the role has slowly grown into more responsibility. Now I got my hands on the social channels and, you know, getting to plan some leaderboard stuff, getting to plan some pack drop stuff. So getting to have a lot of fun, getting to, spread my wings a little bit. But yeah, I've always loved writing. Like, I was like, will I ever publish a novel? I started and not finished books and screenplays. But, cranking out a few hundred words about basketball has always just been like easy breezy with a cup of coffee fun. And, it's taking me this far, which is great.
King Brett, we definitely noticed Packrip taking over he mentioned the social channels when he took over the Twitter account. Like, we noticed the wave, right? Man, that was nuts in those times.
Yeah,
dude, it was so.
Go ahead.
It was just I was gonna say it was so great because like we followed like Top Shot and like anything and Three Ball's so good at like creative posts and creative things like getting your attention, TikTok videos but like you said, we saw the transition and we were like, what's going on? Like now everything's like active. Well, holy crap, they just commented on your post. Oh my god, we just liked it. Oh my gosh, we just got followed. Like we were like celebrating. We were like, what's going on? Like we were so pumped and it's like it snowballed. Like things have just continued to get better and better. It's almost like y'all are getting more comfortable and really figuring out like, what's working, and it's awesome,
Yeah, I mean, I remember for me, like when I wrote an article about like the top 25 debut moments or whatever, like how special it felt in that moment to get like liked or retweeted by Top Shot and to get followed by Top Shot. And I was like, man, like I felt so good when that happened. If I could just like give everyone that feeling of joy a little bit on like a daily basis and like engage with the community more and, connect and collect, right? Like,
Yes,
why not? So it's like an easy thing to do. And, like, I think there's reasons why it didn't happen before, and that's fine. But like, I was kind of like, this will be fun. This will be like a different vibe. And I think I've, enjoyed doing it for the very least.
We were too big when you were writing and growing at that time. And then once things watered down just a hair, like everybody posting about Top Shot followed me. And like you're saying, those wins to see the community and everybody kind of band together. That was very exciting. Good times for sure, which is what brought us all together. Collectin and Connectin, baby.
Yeah.
Another name drop.
There we go. It's interesting. The culture when you were first started writing, and you're right, man. I noticed you and was reading your stuff just because you talked about basketball, and how much you were loving the moments. And that's what, when I first got in, I was like, now this is because I love the NBA, anything NBA, just get it in my veins, man. And so this thing, this Top Shot thing, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm telling all my friends about it. And then all of a sudden the money thing happened, right? Then it became about getting rich and all that stuff. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was distracting. But it was the heart of what you were saying that I was jiving with from day one was how much more fun this makes something that's already so much fun. Like, and where I live, there's no NBA team that close, right? There's a really good team in Memphis. There's a few teams in Texas I've heard, but
the Spurs, buddies, right? Spurs Rockets.
But my buddies, man, nobody wants to talk NBA. Nobody wants to talk NBA like you guys want to talk NBA. So that's the funnest part. It's like all these people I got to know that they want to talk about these. Freaking Samuel D wants to talk about some kid that's a ninth grader that's going to be a big college prospect. Where's he going to land in the NBA?
Yeah.
So you mentioned NBA, you mentioned the Spurs buzzwords, and we're talking things of recent past anyway. We got NBA draft just happened, and we got to all see Wemby for the first time, summer league and things. This guy is pretty impressive. Only got out there twice. The first one wasn't as great as we thought it was going to be, but the second one was super impressive. Talk to us about Top Shot being there for NBA Con, Summer League. Talk to us about the involvement there and what we're seeing with lots of activities in the summer to keep things going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, Top Shot, the Summer League, has become a bit of an annual tradition. This was actually the first summer that I hadn't been there. I had been to every Top Shot Summer League activity, either as a collector or an employee over the years. And I was doing some Collectin Connectin with the family in the Jersey Shore, a little vacation. So didn't get to go this year collecting seashells with my daughter. But you know, I think that obviously what happened in Summer League this year between Roham and Adam Silver on stage, with our presence at the first NBA Con, hopefully not the last NBA Con, getting to work with the PA for the Brotherhood Deli at Summer League, kind of like taking that bodega concept that we had 2 years ago, that booth concept, and really kind of
so cool.
Leveling it up with partners and with really special activation. So I think that was just a super fun experience for all the collectors who were there. A really cool way to meet some new collectors, a really cool way to, strengthen our relationships with the PA and with the NBA, and hopefully like build a bit of a tradition that will continue to evolve over the years. But, Summer League is fun because the vibe in that arena is like unmatched. And if you've never been there before, if anyone's never been there before, you basically have 2 games going on all the time. It's like March Madness. And from like 1 p.m. until like 8 p.m., there's 2 basketball games all the time. And they're it's like a 1-minute walk from one arena to the next. It's like across the street inside this arena. And you can just go, and there's the main arena, which is big. And then there's the smaller arena, like the secondary game, which is like a high school gym. And it's just great to watch these guys kind of like unencumbered, trying to, obviously prove their worth and make the team. And then obviously the first look at a lot of these star players and, Wemby and Scoot and, this year's draft class is kind of loaded, in my opinion. Obviously at the top, very heavy. And I think that, in Series 4, we kind of hit a really promising stride with rookies. The rookie debut breakout from the base set, rookie revelation, the draft footage, scarcity per tier. I think that collectors have really resonated with our approach to rookies in Series 4 and making sure that they are scarce and collectible. The moments are special. Obviously, getting draft footage from the NBA draft for rookie revelation was a really long-term thing that we were working towards. That was really, really special to make happen. The Adam Silver Top Shot debut unofficially, right, in every one of those moments. So it'll be really cool, in the future to see what we could do with Wemby, with Chet, right? Because obviously Chet didn't get to play last year, so it's pretty stiff competition for Rookie of the Year. Going to be a lot of really cool collectible rookie moments, and obviously Wemby is like, hopefully his generational talent that exceeds the hype, and the Spurs have had a really promising track record with big men that they drafted in the first round. That's for sure, and San Antonio fan community. Ginobili and all those guys are super passionate. So I can't wait for the NBA season to start. It's July. I'm like counting down the days till October and November. It'll be really fun to see what Victor does, what we're able to do with the rookie class as far as like any kind of cool collaborations, and what moments come out of that class, and what that Rookie of the Year chase looks like.
Hey, one of the things that I really liked about what y'all did this in Series 4, it felt like you caught a rhythm with the season, right? Like as the NBA season, kicks off, and that's a big thing, and then you kind of hang. For us, we're in it all the time, but kind of as it fluctuates, at the kickoff, whenever the season kicks off, and then December, and then the All-Star game and the playoffs. I felt like you guys really jived well with how the season went. Is that something we can expect in the future? Is that what you guys are feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have those NBA tentpoles, right? Yeah. Christmas, All-Star, playoffs, where we know like that's going to be part of what we're doing. I think the in-season tournament, starting in November and ending in December, has given us some stuff to think about that we're working through now.
So cool.
To what degree will that be part of our plan? Will it be its own thing? Will it just be part of everything else? It'll obviously make November and December games a lot more interesting, just to have that added kind of like, whether it's Commissioner's Cup in the WNBA or kind of like a traditional kind of like, European football approach to the league. I think it'll just be really fun for those early season games that might otherwise not have as much weight. Maybe make some special moments out of those. But, I think in general, we're always trying to make sure that the best plays of the season are available as collectibles. And I think in Series 4, one of the major changes was like decoupling for a lot of the moments, at least, like the set from the drop. So when an amazing dunk happened and it was a throwdown, it was available next week in the pack drop rather than waiting for the whole 20 or 30 throwdown moment set to be available and then doing the throwdown specific drop. That was that was a major change in Series 4 that helped us, I think, tell the story of the season as it unfolded to make sure that like a moment happened this week, it's available in a pack drop a week or two later. Yeah, really like so cool. From the court to your collection as quickly as possible to really have that relevance. Obviously with LeBron, we were able to do that super quickly. With a bunch of other things, we were able to do it super quickly. You know, whether or not that kind of like happens one for one as a clear carryover in Series 5, you know, we'll see. I don't want to, you know, I've been told specifically for right. You know, like no alpha, right? Like there's nothing I could really share that would like, you know, spoil anything one way or another. But I mean, you know, I think we're still doing a lot of like reflection on
what went up a little bit if you want. I'm just saying.
Well, I think you've got it's interesting to me because there's so many new developments on the platform in Series 4. I like not knowing. Like there's so many different things y'all can do. And that may just be me. Like some people, I guess, want a roadmap and exactly what you get. I love the not knowing, like, okay, how the new redemption collectible is going to play into it, right? All the different things you've been able to, and the geo gating during the summer league. I love having those things as kind of like, ooh, what's going to happen with this next year?
Yeah, and I mean, like, Top Shot time obviously like functions differently than the rest of the world. Always has, always will, and like it's hard. You know, like it's been basically 12 months. Let's just use like the John Morant Throwdowns crafting challenge from last summer, which I think was June, as like a catalyst. You know, like in the last 12 months, crafting for the first time, anthologies for the first time, locking, player leaderboards, team leaderboards, different kind of reward structures for collecting, the app, now geo-gated drops.
Tap it.
You know, right? Like there are so many different things that have been built in the past 12 months. I'm not even like touching all of them. I think there's probably a lot of stuff that I'm missing, but I think that like, cool, all that stuff happened in 12 months for 1 year in one NBA season in one series.
Crazy. It's
so
crazy.
Like
what's happening. It's like so much is happening.
So much is happening.
And that's not like bragging or like, oh my God, we achieved all these things, right? It's not about that. It's about
brag, man. Brag.
That was the first time this stuff happened, right? Like let's learn from it. Let's see what went well. Let's see what could have been improved. Let's see what could change. Let's see what maybe we won't want to do again. And really take a beat to like reflect and you know, looking ahead to Series 5, like, all right, cool. Like we did this for the first time. How can we improve that for the future? How can we keep leaning on this? Obviously, there's been a lot of burn leaderboards recently. You know, some more kind of positively received than others, but in general, that's like a different concept. I think that there's been a lot of new stuff that we've introduced. I think mostly positive. That it'll be really cool to like see how those things evolve. You know, redemptions as well for the playoffs, which was totally new and different.
So cool.
You know, like you think about cardboard, people are still waiting for their redemptions from like 1 or 2 years ago. And we were, you know, we were working with the NBA to like deliver redemptions within 3 or 4 days. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we've done. It'll be really interesting to see what gets leveled up or what's kind of gets put aside for the future. But I think in general, anytime you do so much, it's really important to like think about what actually worked and like what was great for a collector and how can we make that even better. It's been a fun year for sure.
No doubt.
Just to tag on that, it's crazy. I don't think people realize because people have a microscopic view, right? They're fixated on like their aspect, their one point, where y'all are looking at where are we going, where were we, where are we at now, so much more. But even with the WNBA, right? Like there's drops happening. I was just in one recently, and it's just so cool that I see that in season transitions, like it's always improving. It's not like y'all are just waiting for a big rollout. Like every single drop, every single set, it's like something's a little better. Things are a little bit better.
Yep.
You know, it's awesome to see progress and not just, you know, complacency or just sitting around waiting for nothing. Like it's just so cool.
Yeah, and I think for the W, you know, yesterday was the first drops of the season. We wanted to make sure that we waited a little bit to get the best moments. We didn't want to have too many drops. We wanted to make sure scarcity was at the forefront of it. Collectability was at the forefront of it. Yesterday actually was the first time in the past year second time ever that more WNBA moments were purchased in the marketplace than NBA moments. Which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
That's great.
But in general, like that, the MGLE mint count going lower, rookie mint count going lower, base hit mint count going lower, really leaning on scarcity there, adjusting to, make sure we're just giving people something they want to collect and make sure that it's something worth holding or worth owning or worth collecting or worth kind of like chasing. And so, we're always kind of learning and looking and seeing what we could do. People have different experiences. But, yeah. Congratulations.
So I'm definitely holding,
are you going for Brianna, or are you just going to kind of hold that Sabrina?
I don't know yet. I'm so conflicted because I got into WNBA stuff early on when it kind of first was coming out and started collecting, and then I transitioned to really completing some Top Shot sets and being a part of Discords and groups, and so now I'm kind of conflicted. I'm still trying to finish up some stuff, but I really like the stuff that WNBA and all the people out there that are, kind of repping that and pushing that in the Discords and playbacks. And it's just so great.
Yeah.
Mac Attack and
amazing community. Jen and Jude.
Yes.
The W fan community is smaller than the NBA community, but very, very passionate, very strong and loyal. Very creative, very fun. Yeah.
Well, and the new player boards and team like I'm struggling now because now when I go and I look up Marcus Smart, I can see that I want everything there to be green.
Horrible.
I want everything there to be green.
Yeah, you got to complete it.
Yes, it's like, okay, this is incomplete. I was feeling really good about my collection until y'all came out with that, and now I'm like,
oh no. Well, you should still feel good about your collection, Treat. I mean, your Grant Williams, page is looking pretty green, right?
I swept the floor this morning, but I have that. It's just like as a collector, I'm like, okay, I need to. This is not complete.
I know, the fact you don't know is like comforting. You're like, oh yeah, I got them all. Like not knowing that you're missing.
Yeah, now it's right in my face.
Now that I know.
I really do love it.
I have a hard time not completing stuff, just like Treat. So like I see it, I can't look at it. I'm like, don't look.
Yeah, I love those pages. I'm really glad that we rolled them out. Obviously, making it easier to collect and celebrate your collection a little bit. I love that every one of those pages has a playlist, right? Even playlists didn't exist a year ago, and like when we first rolled those out, it was kind of like, okay, cool, we'll make them, and like they, you can't make them, but we can make them, and they only exist here. And now it's like, no, you could. Every set, every team, every player has a playlist, which is cool. Just to be able to easily watch watch the moments, see the highlights, right? Like that's part of what makes Top Shot great.
And the chaser buckets, or the chase with everybody's little symbol in them, little Top Shot PF. It's that stuff's so cool.
Yeah, team's been cooking. Team's been cooking.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
That's something we've been focusing on in our other show, Moment by Moment. We've been watching the moments in detail together and digging through the descriptions to just talk more and celebrate those moments. I love the playlist. I love the player profiles and team profiles. The first feeling was those team checklists a couple series ago when we were trying to complete those to get in Discords and get in different parts. But it reminds me of the cardboard and the wax world of the checklist that comes in there, and you want to make sure that you get every card. I know you're a card head as well. You mentioned your daughter earlier, and you posted a picture of her ripping packs. Have you guys opened moments together before?
We haven't done any moments yet. She's kind of looked at me like looking at the marketplace and kind of like, what's that? But she's like 2.5. So we haven't quite opened any packs together yet, but maybe soon.
That's too much stimulation. The cardboard's probably a good starting point.
You're pulling a number one if you open a pack with her. I'm calling it now. She's gonna be your good luck. Jersey or number one, it's happening.
Yeah, I've never pulled a jersey or a number one. I don't know if I ever will. But no, she loves I have my shoebox full of cards next to my desk, right? And like she'll open that like every night before bath time and kind of just like throw all of them on the ground and check them out. And yeah, she's into it.
Nice. My 4-year-old, we've looked at basketball and NFL cards, and then we've recently looked at some Pokemon and whatnot just to check out some different stuff. But he's getting into it.
That's
my
cool.
parents are moving down to Florida, and I went home during Father's Day weekend to like go through my old childhood stuff, and I grabbed all these Beanie Babies for her. Now she's like obsessed with Beanie Babies. I was like, Mom, like, do you happen to have like that binder full of Pokemon cards that I got in middle school? She's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, you know, I know I had a damn Charizard in there. Like, goddamn, Mom. But no Pokemon kids yet.
They pawned that binder, but they still have the Beanie Babies.
Yeah, the Beanie Babies had the tag sleeve protectors on them. Yeah, they had the protectors on the tags. Yeah, like,
that's how they're paying for the Florida move. They sold the Pokemon cards.
Yeah, they didn't want to tell you. Any cards you have, they're no longer there. It's fun to move to Florida.
That's awesome. They're coming down to be with you guys. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
They look close.
Yeah, not too far.
Cool.
Hopefully not too close.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. The perfect distance between too far and too close.
As long as there's 2 gated neighborhoods between us, we're fine.
Exactly.
So I don't want to miss on my chance while I have you here because Treat gets too wrapped up and excited about talking about S5 and was already alluding to a couple things there. We've had Austin Kent on the podcast and the show before.
I know him.
Brandon Soul as well. And we've talked a ton about what Series 4 is really doing for the platform. I mean, the updates, you've already hit on so many of them, but like Series 4 is so fire. We're so excited on all the sets. We've been actively collecting, and it's just really cool to see where things are going. And to Brett's point, love to zoom out and take a bigger picture view of it every once in a while because, that TST, that Top Shot time, like things happen so fast, you forget 2 weeks ago. But so much is happening and growing, and we're all collecting and connecting. It's really good to see.
Yeah, Series 4 in a silo as a dedicated NBA season, I think has been, pretty great. I'm happy with how things went personally, and I think there are a lot of great moments in there to collect and a lot of cool improvements, and obviously a lot of new communities forming, a lot of new creators forming, a lot of new people being passionate about the product. You guys, Badge County, other people kind of stepping in and making content and kind of like spreading their wings a little bit. It's awesome to see. Top Shot at the end of the day is a really cool hobby and a really innovative collectible and a really great way to like bring basketball fans together. And I think it's been special to see a lot of that this year for sure.
No doubt. It's really cool to see how there were so many out there collecting, right, that felt the same way you did when you were writing those blogs. Man, we just love it. We're having a good time. And it's just cool we all found each other. Like when the chips were down, it's like you're down at halftime. That's when you find out who you are as a team. And I feel like we really found who we are as a community during Series 4, and now we're just having a blast. Whatever happens from here, man, is just gravy. It's just a neat story that we'll be able to tell the next wave of collectors. We'll be talking about how great this was while everybody finding each other. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Treat, I'm glad I found you, man. Gotta be honest.
Yeah,
we tell him that every day, man.
I love you guys. I'm having so much
fun.
What
do you mean? I'm just playing a guitar, holding up pitchfork, having a good time.
I'm just happy to have a group of friends I can talk about NBA with. It's just
I think everyone remembers where they were when they saw their first Treaticus video.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, they're goofy as hell. My favorite one is my daughter's impression of me. That's my favorite.
That's a fantastic.
She still does that every time when we're all together as a family. I have 4 grown kids, so it's rare that we're all ever together. But we were all together last weekend, and they all demanded that she do the impression. So
I bet it was great.
It's
amazing
awesome.
How much they watch us. They're imitating us all the time.
That's right. But we gotta get together. Maybe at the tournament in November.
Something. There'll be something, that's for sure.
And that's going to be in Vegas. Is that right?
Yeah. So the mid-season tournament, like semifinals and finals, are in Vegas in December. And basically the way that tournament is structured is that every Tuesday night and every Friday night there are like tournament games, which are regular season games, but It's against the people in your division and it's in your group. And the record of those group games counts towards who makes it to like the semifinals and finals of that tournament.
Outstanding. So cool. Really cool.
So either there or everyone can come to Dallas. It's easy to fly in. It's centrally located. We have 3 teams within 3 hours of us. I'm just saying. We got options.
Yeah.
We got 2 teams within 3 or 4 hours of us. So.
I've never been to Dallas. It's on my list. So, go out there, eat some barbecue, right? Like
CNC Con. CNC Con. How about that?
Sure. Come on down. We'll have a great time.
Can you work on a floaty grant for the first CNC Con? Can you help? Can you pull some strings?
He's talking to 3-ball or talking to me. Obviously not you, Packrip.
I think I just heard my doorbell.
Well, you're always welcome to Dallas, brother. Have very low expectations, so when you come, you'll be pleasantly surprised. That's what I think.
Perfect.
So I think it's what's really cool about this product. Treat mentioned how much we love the NBA, but the fact that we're on here talking together, the fact that we're in the Discord, you can find the CNC Discord below in the link, but the fact that we're in there chatting every day and hanging out and talking because we love basketball. And then we know Spurs fans and Rockets fans and Knicks fans and Celtics fans and people that make us want to at least pay attention to those teams. We don't necessarily have to cheer for them, but we at least are aware of them and aware of the squads that they have. And it's fun interacting and just enjoying meeting other people and finding other people like us. It's just a great time.
That's nice. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very nice. And there's part of me in the future that wants to see us kind of like lean into the rivalries a little bit more, right? Like we're all friends, but like when the Celtics are playing the Knicks, we're not friends anymore, right? So like
that's a great idea.
I do think there's something there.
Games is just so I can talk smack in the Discord about the Charlotte Hornets and how horrible they.
That's a great idea.
They got potential.
About that.
They do.
Oh, we got to figure out how to do that. That's
burn the rivals.
Some public shaming when your team gets beat. Like there's something beautiful. There's
something beautiful about that.
Yeah, it is.
I don't quite know how it'll work yet, but.
We need to figure that out.
Making a video, beware.
We could do some sort of public, like when rival teams and some of the people on Twitter, right, and say, hey, who's willing to jump in this and get
who wants to get publicly flogged?
Exactly. Now do you believe in your team enough to risk public shaming?
I know what Treat is going to. Now I know you're spending your entire weekend thinking about Treat.
Oh yeah. This is a whole new video series.
Be blowing up now. He's gonna be like, "No, we should have a pie in the face contest. Worst record of the year.
It's got to be something.
Pie in the face.
Collecting and clashing.
Collecting and clashing. Love it.
There's our new
it's
shirt.
On now. It's on now. If your team loses, you got to do a tap that app video, or something like that. Something you gotta do something embarrassing publicly.
You have to send your skyhook version. And
there you go. Yeah.
See everyone doing their skyhooks.
Okay, Series 5, Collectin and Clashing. It's happening. It's happening.
Packrip, man, this has been a pleasure. I know you got to get back to it. You're a busy man. I'm so thankful that you came out on here with us to hang out. Collectin and Connectin, episode 6 with Packrip Ewing. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks for having me. I'll be back one day for sure. And have a great weekend, boys.
Let's do it.
Guys. Appreciate you.
Brother. Thanks.